I'm Shashi.
And I'm Jeff.
We're the organizers of Portland Startup Weekend.
Our next event's coming up April 27th through 29th, and we'd love to see you there.
Check us out at portland.startupweekend.org.
I'm Balki Kodarapu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Return Guru. So Return Guru is a company that was conceived at the Startup Weekend. So I like to tell this story whenever I talk about Return Guru. A few months ago, I just realized Startup Weekend was coming to town. As I was walking out of the house, I was thinking of ideas to pitch there. And then I saw a pair of these shoes lying in the garage. Those were my wife's shoes. I always tease about those shoes. She bought them, but never used them, right? So I was thinking through, and all the items in the house that were just lying there, we bought them and never had the patience or never remembered to take them back to the store. So something sparked in my head, and I said, if I got a reminder before it was too late to take these things to the store, it would be a great idea. I'm very organized. I have all these receipts lying around, but I never remember to return them to the store in time. So I went ahead and pitched that at the Startup Weekend, got a lot of traction. Everybody seemed to like the idea. They connected with the idea. We went on the streets, asked 50 people, mostly women, if that idea connected with them and if they would use that, if there was a product around it. And 80% of them said yes, but it needs to be extremely easy and simple to use. That was the feedback we got. So we kept building the business model around it, pitched it Sunday night at the Startup Weekend, and we won the competition.
How did you decide on choosing your co-founder?
An interesting story, actually. So we were trying to get into one of the local seed funds, and as we talked to them and other investors, they were all concerned that I was a sole proprietor of this company. They really encouraged me to go find a complementary co-founder. So I reached out to my network, started looking for who would be a good complement. My background is technology and project management. So a good co-founder would have been marketing, PR, sales. So that's what I was looking for. I talked to several people. In the process, I actually developed a questionnaire, a detailed questionnaire. So anybody who was interested, I would hand out this 3-page questionnaire and say, before we talk, answer all these questions. And if that sounded, first of all, many people didn't even answer. They just backed off, depending on the amount of commitment it was required. The few people that answered, one of them was Erica. She immediately connected with the idea. She actually went and asked several of her advisors and friends what they thought about the idea. They all connected with the idea. Then we talked several times. We actually went through a trial period for about 6 weeks, and then eventually decided this partnership would work out.
How did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
So I went to school in University of Washington. I just graduated last year, business school. During the second year, I got introduced to the business plan competition there. And we took one of the local companies through that very extensive due diligence process to get that company through various stages in the business plan competition. And I met a lot of investors, entrepreneurs, and such in the Seattle market. And that kind of inspired me to do something on my own. And after graduating, I was looking for opportunities to do something on my own, and Startup Weekend came along, and that's how everything happened.
Do you have any advice for budding entrepreneurs?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a first-time entrepreneur myself. Some of the lessons I learned in the last few months were, in hindsight, I may have spent a little more time than I need to on the structural issues of the company. So I went to the lawyers right away. which was a good thing overall, but then I kept dwelling on all these agreements which may or may not be helpful in the near term. So that actually was a negative because we lost some traction while I was figuring out all these structural issues. So it's important that you think about this, but think in terms of just in time, not just in case. So only work on those agreements that you need in the near term, but keep the others in the back of your mind. The other thing we tried to follow and we had good success with is the lean startup model. I highly recommend that. Again, going back to Rick's quote, if you're not embarrassed with your product, you waited too long. So launch as soon as you can, follow the MVP model, launch in the market, and that's the best way you could get feedback from potential customers. No matter how much analysis you do on the napkin, on a paper, that's always going to be wrong unless you go ask the customers, you put the product in front of them and ask their feedback.